Estrogen dominance was a term coined by Dr. John Lee in the early 1990s. Dr. Lee was a pioneer in banging the drum on progesterone as a standalone treatment and a hormone that had significant effects on its own. Women up until Dr. Lee's publicity and highlighting the fact that progesterone had a significant use in women, women up until that time were considered to be estrogen-only entities. That is, if there was any gynecological problem or any women's health issue, if you threw estrogen at it, well, then that would fix everything. But in fact, women work on three hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And progesterone had by far and above been the forgotten hormone, because it must be understood that estrogen is a very stimulatory hormone. It is responsible for the development of the breast, the female body shape, reproduction, and progesterone is a very nebulous hormone in a lot of respects, because it principally has a tempering effect on the stimulatory effects of estrogen and provides a balance, if you like, against the very stimulatory hormone estrogen. But where progesterone comes into its own is in pregnancy, because progestation, it is the hormone of pregnancy. And so in terms of reproductive, progesterone has a very important role to play, but it has standalone properties of its own in the non-pregnant state, which has largely been forgotten. So Dr. Lee talked about the fact that women are very good at producing estrogen. In the normal menstrual cycle, estrogen levels are high. In the second half of the cycle, progesterone is produced after ovulation, and it provides a balance to the estrogen. As women age and they approach menopause or they become menopausal, what happens is the hormones drop. So the estrogen declines a little bit, but progesterone, once ovulation stops, drops to zero. And it's that difference between where the estrogen levels are and the low levels of progesterone at the time of menopause that created a lot of women started experiencing menopausal symptoms, and quite often that, especially mood changes, teariness, lack of confidence in their abilities, and also some hot flushes and physical effects such as hot flushes, night sweats and vaginal dryness, are due to changing hormone levels. And what was found is if you have lower progesterone levels than estrogen, that gap allows the estrogen to dominate. And that's where the term estrogen dominance came in. So by addressing the low progesterone, by supplementing progesterone, you could balance the hormones. And that Dr. Lee called estrogen dominance. And that term has stuck ever since. And if I do go into a more detailed video which explains estrogen dominance in much clearer and precise terms later on in this series.